I wanted to put this out because all I've been seeing in politics lately is divisiveness, fighting, arguing, blaming. I am saying that those who voted for Trump were not wrong right off the bat. I'm saying that those who voted for Kamala, in their eyes, were not wrong. But what we need to get through and understand is that this country needs to come together and understand that though each of us have our own reasons for what we do, those reasons are not based in stupidity, racism, any of those things. Trump is not Hitler. Kamala, I watched her for 4 years do nothing but cackle and laugh at anything that was more than all gays and trans and this and that need to have all their rights, and people who don't believe that women should have the right to an abortion. Well, we have the right to an abortion. We have the rights to our own bodies. That right to the abortion came down to the state we live in, which is where it should be. The government cannot control every single state. So if you don't live in a state, oh, sorry, let me say this again. If you live in a state where abortion is not allowed, go to one where it is. Abortion is your choice. I don't choose it. I've been there. I live with the fact that I gave up my little baby girl 30 years ago, and I love her more than anything in the world. But to have to live with the fact that I killed my baby girl and never gave her the chance to become the vice president, the president, anything that she wanted to become. I believe that there should be term limits, though. If at 22 weeks you don't know what you want to do with that baby, make the decision. Abortion is not a just a medical procedure. Abortion is not giving birth to a baby. That is not the termination of a pregnancy. The termination of a pregnancy is when you violently take a baby from your womb so that it does not live. Taking a baby from your womb when it is ready to be taken, or even if it's a little bit before, is not an abortion. An abortion is not, a doctor is never going to say, I can't take that baby. They're going to do everything in their power to take the baby, put it into an incubator, something along those lines. After 22 weeks, a baby is viable. Before 22 weeks, it is a parasite in your body. So I do believe that abortion is not murder. Now, if you want to make some laws, federal laws for abortion, to help abortion, make a federal law and work on a federal law with our government, and anyone can do this, that states that at 22 weeks, a baby is viable and is now considered a living being and being brought up by the mother. It is now murder if you kill that baby after 22 weeks. Before 22 weeks, it is a fetus and it can be killed. It is for all intensive purposes, it's a parasite in the woman's body. For you ultra conservatives who believe that it's killing a baby at any point, you have to understand we all have the right to choose. We don't have to choose your religion. We don't have to choose your beliefs. I don't personally believe that going to term with a baby and then saying, I don't want it, and letting it die on a table, anybody who would do that is crazy. And they deserve to go to prison for murder. A mother who gives up her baby by throwing it in a trash can or by laying it out in the snow should go to jail for murder. A mother who comes to term with the birth of her baby and then gives it up for adoption or gives it to a safe place, a police station, whatever, should not be charged with anything for giving up their baby. Once they give it up to those places, they have no rights to it. They have nothing. They lose everything. They don't even have the right to go back for it later on when they realize they made a mistake. They have given up that baby, and it is now a ward of the state, and the state may now have it adopted. A baby is more likely to be adopted than a child at 5 to 14 years old. And by the time a child is 5 to 14 years old and a mother has realized, I screwed up, or the state realizes the mother screwed up, that child has already been in foster care and is much harder to adopt and has more difficulty getting the mental help it needs. And I think a lot of us don't realize how much mental help a child really needs. They bounce back in everything else, but certain things that happen to them as a child last them their entire lives. Being left behind at 14, I know what it feels like. I was 14 years old. I was on my own till I was placed in a foster home at 15. I hated the foster homes. It wasn't until I was taken in by a very wonderful woman who was my godmother and my aunt, how I learned what kind of life I should be leading. But everybody deserves that right. Whether you're a liberal who believes babies should die whenever they want them to die, or you're a conservative who believes babies should never ever die. Okay? You liberals believe that a woman has a miscarriage, that we're going to consider that a abortion. That's not an abortion, honey. An abortion is where you stick a coat hanger up your crotch and scramble that baby's egg inside of you. Then you're going to get hurt. You're going to have all kinds of screwed up situations, and you're going to have to go to the hospital, and the doctor is going to fix it. Now, are you going to get arrested? Probably. Why? Because you've just put your own life in danger and killed something else, whether it be a baby, a zygote, whatever, as soon as you do something of that sort, you have now tried to injure yourself. So there will be consequences to that. Mental, physical, you're going to end up in a hospital. Go to a regular doctor. Go to a state that allows abortion. Do not abort your baby at 22 weeks, 30 weeks, 40 weeks, where it now has fingers and toes and arms and legs and a whole entire body and a heart and a brain, and it is living. It is wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Christian. I am a person. And to me, that is wrong. You decide you don't want a baby. Anybody who decides they don't want a baby, there are options out there. Do it. Just because your state doesn't allow it, they cannot ban it everywhere. There are a lot of Catholic and Christian states out there who believe it. For gays and lesbians, there's nothing wrong with you. Your heart chose something a lot of other people don't believe in. Now, does that mean that our government's going to come after you and harm you? Or that you won't be able to get a job because you're a gay or a lesbian? Do you want to work in a place that won't accept you? Find a job that will accept who you are. Not make somebody accept you. Because that kind of acceptance isn't acceptance at all. I need my coffee in the morning. I haven't had enough of it. And I've been seeing all of this stuff online for days, now almost 2 weeks. Trump is not the antichrist. Trump is a man who wants this country back to what it used to be. And he knows, I know, my husband knows, this place can be beautiful. It can be loving. But it is also built on rugged individualism. What that means is that every person wants their own little piece of heaven, of greatness, of love. Not, I got to do what everybody else wants me to. I have no problems with I wish you guys would find a better name for it, LGBTQ alphabet soup stuff. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't even get that. Okay? I understand cross-dressers. I even to some points understand transgenders. There is nobody on the face of the earth that is going to tell me that a furry is an actual thing. I don't care. You can be a furry all you want. You believe you in you, and I will believe in me, and don't tell me that I have to believe in you. Because you put a pair of ears on your head and you walk around going to the bathroom in a litter box doesn't mean that you are a furry. You need mental help. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. The only reason animals use a litter box or a outside is because they are not us. They don't have the mental whatever it takes to go to the bathroom. You can get a few animals. I know of a few cats who can go to the bathroom in the toilet. Okay. I've actually seen dogs do it, but it's very rare. I tried for years. I hate litter boxes with a passion. I love my fur babies. My fur babies are my family now. I have lots of kids I have helped to bring up, and I don't want to see any of them be abused because of what they choose, either way, whether it's conservative or it's the fringe of society. Okay? But my kids that I have helped to bring up also realize that it's their decision and that they need to be happy with who they are. It's not about being loved by everybody, because not everybody is going to love you. There's just no possible way for every single person to understand your choices. You're not going to get it. You're always going to have those people who don't believe. And there is nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with you because you are different. They're saying 75 to 80% of America wanted what happened in the last couple of days. I don't trust the media so much, but I looked at the numbers. Trust me and believe it won't get bad. Trump can't send anybody anywhere that is a legal citizen in the United States. And if Trump uses the laws correctly, what will happen is even the children born in the United States will still have to go back with their parents to whatever country they are from. When I lived in Germany, I was almost born in Germany. My mother looked into the laws. I would not have been able to stay in Germany. When my mother left Germany, I had to go with her until I was 18 years old, and then I could choose what country I wanted to live in. That was the law. They could not keep her baby over there and send her back home. It is the law of every country in the world. If you are in their borders and have a baby, the baby goes back with the parents. The baby then has a choice at 18 years old to choose between whichever country, the country they were born in or the country that they grew up in, that their parents were born in. There is another way that the children can stay. They can have a family member or somebody very close to the family adopt the children for a time while the parents get their legal papers to come back to the United States. It's not rocket science, people. It really isn't. Children are being brought over here and dumped on our borders because it makes us look like horrible people sending them back. We don't have any idea where these kids go. So they end up in foster care. We have enough kids in foster care without having children who aren't even from this country in foster care. We have tons of cartels and gangs coming over our border right now, which are killing American citizens. Now, yes, there are a few people who are fleeing their country. Fleeing for economic reasons, it doesn't matter what you're fleeing for. Go through the right channels. Yes, it takes months and years and money to do that, but you're spending money. They're spending money to come over here because they get these caravans together, they get them all in there, and then they bring them over either in a truck where some of them die, across the river where some of them get washed away, or however else they're going to get here. Pay the money, do the right thing, and 99% of the time, America will let you in. Unless there's something in your history that shows that. Okay, that was a good one. There's something in your history that shows that you are a bad person and you cannot be here. We don't need more criminals. We have enough of our own. Stop importing. I know you young people believe in no borders. Well, we've got them. And in every other country in the entire world, you cannot just go over there and say, I'm a citizen. I'm a subject. I live here now. It's my home. You go over there, you visit, you talk to their government, whichever one you decide to live in. You get their paperwork. You learn their language. You get your own place to live. You don't come here and expect us to give it all to you. We don't have that great of an economy. We have lots of people who aren't doing so well. And yes, some of them choose to be that way. We're not getting on that subject today. We will not talk about drunks, alcoholics, drug addicts, people on the street. We're not talking about those people. What we are talking about is that there's economic failure here. And that economic failure, the only person who's going to fix that is someone who is a businessman. And he has picked some very, very tough people. Don't get me wrong. Some of them may do things and say things you're not going to like. They're going to say things and do things that I don't like. But I have a feeling that by the end of all of this, we will have a country back that we can be proud of. Liberals, you need to open up and let some of us come in. We're not here to hurt you. Conservatives, you need to soften up a little bit and stop being so, this is the rules. And everybody believe that just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean you have the right. Does not mean you have the right to tell somebody else they have to feel that way. America is rugged individuality. And that is what we all deserve. That is what we all want. So most of us voted for Trump. Cross those lines. Talk to that liberal. Don't let that liberal talk down to you. And tell them, we care about what you feel as well. Don't let Whoopi or some freak on the TV tell you that we hate you. American citizens don't hate. They may be angry. They may be hurt. But this country used to be a place where we could send our children down the street and not worry about them being attacked, hurt, abused, taught something we did not believe. Today, it's a place where I work in a hotel and I'm afraid that any of the children running around the hotel without an adult could get hurt, broken, abused, and most people stay to themselves in a hotel. But you never know these days. We need to watch out and love each other and stop worrying about what somebody else is telling us we're losing, because we haven't. Look at what's happened in 4 years. Kamala was there, nothing changed. Trump was there before that, nothing changed. Obama was there, nothing changed in your rights. Now, what has changed is when Obama was in office, gasoline and food was skyrocketing. When Trump was in office, gasoline and food went down in price. When Biden and Harris were in office, everything really skyrocketed. And I am hoping that Trump will get us to a better place. Are some of his plans going to get us a little, having to pay a little bit more? For those people who buy from China and Taiwan and places who are actually our enemies, yes. Until we get products in at a lower rate because of what we build ourselves. We can build all this stuff. Before World War, well, I want to say not even World War One. I'm going to say back in the 80s and early 90s, okay? We had an economy and exports and imports, and everything was going great. Then we got in the man who couldn't keep his thing in his pants. And he's put in all kinds of, oh, free and open borders, no tariffs on anything. It's going to make our lives so much better. Yeah, we can get all this stuff from China. China's economy is booming, but we create nothing now. Yes, our farmers are doing pretty good overseas, but they don't, most people overseas don't really care about our wheat, our, you know, our farming stuff. And yes, we will still have a lot of farming stuff going overseas. But what this is going to help is those people and businesses overseas that have no competition in America. TVs, washer machines, stuff we have to build, which will give us jobs. And when we have jobs and the big business is booming, they give us raises. They give us money. They help us to survive. Yes, we need free markets. Stop telling yourself we don't. Republicans are needed. That is why we are a democratic republic. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I am me. I am who I am. I don't need a Republican to tell me what I need, and I don't need a Democrat to tell me what I need. I don't personally want government at all. They should stay the hell out of our lives. They should run what they're supposed to run and forget about us. What we do in our own homes is our business. Now we have to have some governing body. So our states should tell us what laws we have to follow. So I live in Pennsylvania right now. I lived in New York before. In New York, you weren't allowed to do pretty much anything. It was governed. It was gross. It was stupid. The governors, the Democratic governors, idiots. Okay. Down here in Pennsylvania, we won't let them take our rights away from us. We have lots of laws, but still all of those laws are governed and looked about and changed. And if it ever changes, I'll leave this state and I'll go to a state that's more about me. I'll go live in the woods someplace. Stop trying to tell us what we don't want to hear. That's my rant. And I still love everybody. Thank you.